The penultimate round of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship will start in the river city of Hamilton before venturing out into the King Country, home of the late great Pine Tree Meads.
With 2 rounds to go, I mean, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can always smell it. I can see that trophy, and I'm absolutely determined to win this year because, like I say, I've running out of time, and I need to make it happen.
I let myself down at Coromandel, but we're still in the hunt for the championship, so look out Andrew Hawkson.
Cox Motorsport now understand that the season hasn't gone to plan and our hopes for championship wins over. It doesn't mean we're going to back down. We're going to be on the top step at Rally Waitomo.
Yeah, I'm really privileged to be driving Greg Murphy's Holden Barina AP4, so we're hoping to do a good job this weekend and have a lot of fun.
This Ford Fiesta R5 is a whole new ball game for us, considering we haven't done anything in a full drive car before this.
Welcome to the Rally of Waitomo, the penultimate round of the New Zealand Rally Championship. This is a region that's famous for its scenery, its stunning rally roads and limestone caves, the most famous of which is the Waitomo Caves.
The Waitomo Caves were carved by underground streams pushing through soft limestone over thousands of years, with many amazing stalactites and stalagmites. And of course the cave walls are decorated with galaxies of native glowworms.
But it's not what's under the ground that's really going to interest our drivers this weekend, it's those fantastic Waitomo roads.
The roads here at Waitomo Rally were some of the old Rally New Zealand roads. It's been a few years. I used to love the Rally New Zealand roads. It wasn't just because it was a WRC event, they were actually cool roads. A real nice base on the road, so you know it's not going to rut up, you know it's got a strong base to actually use the car on.
Once you've got a rhythm, I mean, there's nothing better. You can everything just flows one corner to the next, and yeah, I love it.
We don't know what we're getting into, but we hear that every time we hear the roads are amazing, and they are, but of course they come with different challenges to what we're used to in the South Island.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I've heard a lot about these roads and everything, and sort of growing up watching those guys race, and I've always looked at these roads and those drivers as the ultimate test.
So a lot of interest in this event and the debut of the Ford Fiesta R5, driven by Max Bailey.
This car came from Norway. It won the Norwegian Championship last year.
Well, on the surface, it doesn't look a lot different to an AP4 car. What are the critical differences?
I think the biggest thing is the componentry-wise, they're pretty much the same. They've all got ZF gearboxes in it. This is 5-speed, not 6 like we have here. The rear diff is pretty much the same, long suspension travel, that type of thing. The difference here is that this car, or all these components, if you like, were put together by a factory team. So you have to remember that there's been millions of pounds spent on developing every part on the car. I liken it to a baker. You've got all the ingredients here on the kitchen bench. Now we've got to get them all together for the right end result. It's no secret that I've always looked at Max, and he is a guy that has huge potential. He started out with a front-wheel drive Fiesta, so I think his apprenticeship has been perfect. When he got in this car, there was nothing in there that really fazed him. He kept an open mind, but he was keen just to, not to be intimidated by the car. He has good skills.
In the last round, Rally Coromandel, it was a welcome return to NZ for WRC Hyundai driver Hayden Paddon. But on special stage 4, Paddon overshot this corner into retirement. Brendan Reeves was charging hard on debut in the new Mazda AP4 with a couple of wild spins. He won stage 1, then dropped behind Paddon on stage 2. But when Paddon retired, Reeves would hold on to the lead until the end. Matt Summerfield was looking to consolidate his championship position, but he was caught out on special stage 5.
Coromandel was all going well for the most part until stage 5. Just misjudged a left-hander coming downhill that the previous time we'd used the 309. There was heaps left. I was real hesitant on the gas and on the brake, so I was trying to rectify it that time and just didn't quite get the car tuned.
Second for Andrew Hawkswood moves him into the championship lead. While Ben Hunt puts himself back in championship contention with third place. And what a difference that's made. Ben Hunt now 18 points adrift of Hawkswood. And who would have thought that at the start of the season?
It still is a development year, and last year we probably missed our chance to do what we needed to do with moving the car forwards, and now that everything's going awesome and the Subaru's performing like it should be, we can do those fine touches, and we've crept up into the championship, so it's fantastic, and it should make it interesting for the last few rounds.
When are you going to stop calling it development year and start calling it a chance to win the championship again?
Yeah, it's a chance to win the championship, so no, we're excited to drive the car, and I had a bit of a play on Saturday, and it went awesome, so really looking forward to seeing what it's like with Tony in the co-driver's seat on notes, so can't wait.
So Emma, tell us why it is that you love the stages around here.
I think the roads just, for me, is what I remember about rallying, what got me excited about rallying. It's that, going through the New Zealand countryside, through farm, stations, and it's really just out in the back blocks, and the roads are fast and flowing, and they've got the camber, and it's sort of, I suppose, what I remember about Rally New Zealand when you're watching, and then when you're competing, and it's amazing, the scenery that we get to see and the places we go, and then these roads, they're so smooth and fast. It's just, we're so lucky.
One of the most special things here at this rally is a prize for the two-wheel drive drivers heading into the final round Rally of New Zealand. The winner takes free entry into the event and 12 Dunlop tyres. So, lads, tell me, who's going to win the prize?
Well, obviously me. Yeah.
Oh. And why's that?
I don't know. We'll just see how we go, I guess.
Well, those boys might be a little bit coy about who's going to win out there, but I know they're going to be trying, and I know they're going to be fast. So it'll be interesting to see who wins that prize. So let's go and check out those stages with our stage preview.
Thanks, Patrick. 6 stages starting from the small village of Piu Piu. The shortest 15 kilometres, the longest 42.6 kilometres. Stage 1, Waitomo Road, a flowing public road with a hard base. And first to taste the dust on these fantastic roads, reigning champion David Holder. He's driving Greg Murphy's Holden AP4 on this event, so it's a chance for the rally champion to give some valuable feedback to the RDL team.
Yeah, one of my roles this weekend, is to help develop the car. Obviously, Josh and RDL and Greg have done a great job building the cars and developing them till now. So it's a bit of a privilege to get in the car and be asked to give some feedback and try and help move in the right direction. So yeah, we'll make some changes through the rally and see what we can get by the end of it.
Andrew Hawkswood has a 7-point lead in the championship, but he's not taking anything for granted.
The county roads, I guess, a well-prepared Subaru or Mitsubishi is still going to be, a force to be reckoned with. It's one good thing about New Zealand's flowing roads. Once you get up to speed, a well-driven car, somebody good on notes and driven well, it could be anybody's race, really.
And a solid start for Hawkswood. 19 minutes 53, 38 seconds faster than Holder. Matt Summerfield will be looking to get back that championship lead and make the most of the long stages.
Going into these long stages, it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to throw curveballs every stage. Sometimes in rallies or short stages you go, we'll just get through that loop, because you can't lose or gain too much time in there, whereas every stage here is an opportunity for that.
But early problems for Summerfield, down by 1 minute 11, already to Hawkswood. Ben Hunt has come to this event confident that he has the pace in the Subaru to match anyone.
Ben's also got the confidence of coming off a win at Rally Nelson, and now he's got both himself and the car humming together. It'll be really good to see this package moving quickly through these fantastic Waitomo roads.
Hunt 14 seconds down on Hawkswood through the stage. Dylan Turner back in the championship after taking time out to demonstrate this car at the Cadrona snow testing facility. And sporting a new retro paint job, it was just 1.9 down on Hunt. Max Bailey with a lot of attention on him in his return to rallying. His previous car, an R2 Fiesta, now he steps up to an R5 Fiesta. The cars which compete in the WRC too.
Yes, there's a lot of interest in this car because of the close spec that it runs to the New Zealand AP4 cars. But also a lot of interest because Max, like Ben Hunt before him, has served his apprenticeship in a front drive Fiesta before moving up to this R5 weapon.
And immediately on the pace too, just 5.7 down on Hawkswood. Sloane Cox, one of the drivers who can challenge Hawkswood in his Mitsubishi Evo 10, and with a good starting order too.
But being dry, it'll sweep a nice line off for us. It'll allow us to put a good push in where the 6 cars in front of us have allowed a line for us to follow. Being at the pointy end of the field, it's really good because most of the people drive on the same lines, so you can actually follow the lines and know the lines you can trust, and there'll be grip there.
Sloane's talking about using the cars before him to judge when he should be entering and exiting corners, but sometimes slower is fast, Sloane.
Graham Featherston finding it cold going into this event, but these roads will suit his powerful Evo. Emma Gilmore will be looking forward to a trouble-free rally. Her finish at Coromandel was her first result since winning the 2016 Rally Canterbury.
Yeah, really good confidence boost for Emma and the team, but also they seem to have found the right reliability issues they've been looking for. And Emma's been around long enough to have rallied these roads in the WRC, so she knows what to expect today.
6th fastest on the stage for Gilmore. Now, one driver with absolutely no experience on these stages is Rhys Gardner, and his experience turned out to be short-lived as he rolled early on in the stage.
And Rhys might be struggling with the camber and flowing nature of these roads that he doesn't have in the South Island. We're on board here with rowdy veteran Brian Green, and it looks like Rhys has hit the bank, but at least the car's on its wheels and the crew are okay.
Coming up, competition for the New Zealand title boils over, and a frustrating stage for one of the contenders.
I'm here with Terry Kaki, who's the Motorsport New Zealand technical advisor for this event. He's been going over Dylan Turner's car after the engine problems he's had. Terry, tell us what you've been doing.
Yes, well, the championship categories this year are based on vehicle weight versus engine capacity. So we need to make sure that the engines are sealed after there's any work being done on them to make sure that they still maintain the same capacity that they've declared at the beginning of the season. Because Dylan's works had work done on it, the cylinder head seals have been broken, so we've reapplied those. And we also checked the turbo restrictor seal for performance, another performance factor in the class.
And in addition to the seals, what else are you looking at the cars whilst you're going through scrutineering?
We always have a look at some of the safety equipment on the cars as well while they're here, just to make sure that anything that's been removed or tampered with between events has still been installed in the car in the same manner and in a safe manner. So we take the chance of having a quick look at that as well.
The rally heads to the small village of Ohura for the start of Stage 2. A relatively short sprint of 15 kilometres starts narrow but opens at the finish. Andrew Hawkswood knows through bitter experience the importance of finishing every stage. At Rally Whangarei this year he retired on leg 1, and losing those points has made chasing his championship that much harder. Now he was to face another challenge.
If you look at Andrew's dash, there is a red light at the bottom of that dash where there should not be a red light. That means he's got problems, and big problems with his engine. Let's hope he can make it through.
Stage time 10:21. This is a great chance for Ben Hunt to put the pressure on, with both Hawkswood and Summerfield striking problems.
The real question here is, does Ben know they've struck the problems, and can he do anything about it? His car's starting to come to him, his driving's coming right, but how much space and gas does he have left in the tank?
6 right over, finish, 5 left opens, don't cut.
Hunt's time, 9 minutes 49.6. That's 30 seconds up on Hawkswood.
Ben, development year, but keep on getting stronger. You're sitting second at the moment, mate.
Yeah, it's the car feels amazing. We put some gruntier springs in it last week, and it's probably where I've been working towards all year, and it's starting to feel real fun to drive, and we're having a ball.
Max Bailey really making the perfect start to this rally and showing once again that a front-wheel drive apprenticeship is so valuable.
Yes, and you'll find that most of the up-and-coming WRC drivers are now taking this route, including young drivers like Kale Rovanpera. And of course now, there is a junior WRC class racing identical R2 Fiestas, just like the one that Max Bailey used to drive.
And what a drive. He takes the rally lead, a time of 9 minutes 56.2.
Max, the obvious first question, how are you enjoying this car?
Having a lot of fun. Haven't had too much seat time on roads like this, so it's really cool to get into some flowing corners and a bit of speed up.
So if you haven't had much seat time, you must be absolutely stoked with where you're sitting at the moment?
Yeah, well, we've done 130 Ks before the event, but that was in Marramura Forest and out Coromandel, so a bit of different layout of roads out that way, so just having a lot of fun today and keeping going.
Dylan Turner second fastest on the stage, and that would put him third overall.
And a big tug on the handbrake came into that corner. I think Dylan's having far too much fun in this car. Dylan, you happy where you're sitting, third currently?
Yes, it's a pretty good start. We started really well, actually. We were pretty quick at the beginning, but then, I don't know, we had a little moment and it just didn't feel right again. So, I don't know, when we got to the end, our tyre temps were a little bit lower than probably where we should have had them, so I'm still kind of learning those new tyres, the MRFs. But, yeah, it's a good start. I had a round off, so all the boys are up to speed, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Sloane Cox looking forward to these stages after driving over them the previous day in reconnaissance.
I like new roads. It's tricky for me at recce because I write completely new notes. So I haven't got a starting base, but after checking over them in our footage, I love the new roads because it really shows what driver can drive their notes real well and not by memory they've got from previous footage or just something else, memory of the road. So fresh stages or stages haven't been touched in years. It's going to be awesome. Just really show what speed some people can get out of the box.
Fifth overall at this stage for Cox, but not without a few moments.
6 long, 6 right.
Timing is absolutely critical on notes, especially on new ones. And Sarah's just got a little bit out of sync here with Sloane.
Now Sarah, come on. And 6 right opens.
And it's going to be an issue trying to get it back up to speed and get them in sync again.
For David Holder, this is the fourth type of car he's driven in the last 12 months, so no doubt taking some time to get used to another new car.
I think Dave's probably stoked to be in an AP4. He had a run at Coromandel in a GC8. This car will feel like night and day for him, and he's probably really looking forward to getting more and more stage miles in this car.
Emma Gilmore showing promising pace on stage 1, but slipping back to 8th on stage 2.
And Emma is flat out at this point, and she's going as hard as she can, but even with all that, sometimes as a driver, you go as fast as you can, and you still end up with 8th, and you just don't know why.
Featherston now 9th overall. And Josh Marsden wrapping up the top 10 after bending his steering on stage 1. But a terrible morning for Matt Summerfield. A turbo issue saw him struggling to keep the Subaru on boost in the stages.
And Matt will be dancing between the accelerator and the brake pedal through here in these tight, twisty stages, trying to get that engine revving, trying to keep the pace up, and trying to compensate for the loss of turbo issues that he's experiencing here.
Stage time, 10:07.4, back in 11th place.
Matt, not the start to the rally that you wanted, mate. What's going on?
Nah, mate, just a combination of problems. Just no anti-lag since the start of that first stage, so it's just hurting the confidence. The car, without anti-lag, it's like wait 2 seconds for it to go. So it's really hard to commit to anything when it's like that. You just lose so much time over a long stage.
Dave Strong in 12th probably has the most experience of any of the drivers on this road.
Dave, you've been on these roads a few times. How are you going out there?
Well, my memory's not that good. I'm pretty old, you know. Yeah, I like the style of road. A little bit of width, camber. This car handles pretty damn good, and it's probably one of the fastest cars out there with the slowest drivers. So I think we're going okay, you know.
But not okay, the Mazda of Andrew Hawkswood.
Andrew, tell us what's happening, mate.
I just had a bit of an overheating problem in there. It was running pretty hot through that whole stage, so try and jam some water in it now. Won't be drinking in here, we'll be all going in the car.
Reece, channeling your inner Hawkswood there.
Yeah, the car's still got some bugs in it from the first owner, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, things were going really well for the first 10 kilometres. The car felt great. The tyres were finding amazing grip, but then we got a miss in the engine, and the driver got all distracted and we made a mistake and hit a bank and rolled it once and landed back on the wheels. So probably if we didn't pop the tyre off the rim, then we could have driven out, but we're not going to keep driving it. I mean, we don't know what hidden damage is underneath it.
So after 2 stages, Max Bailey with a narrow lead over Ben Hunt, but Hawkswood still in touch. Adam Bly leads the Gold Rally Challenge in 7th. The Gold Rally Challenge has been a huge success for the NZRC promoters, giving drivers of a variety of cars the chance to taste championship rallying on a budget.
The Gold Rally Challenge is a chance to, I guess, dip your toes into the national championship, and yeah, without fully committing to the whole money thing. To be fair, you know, like it's a cheaper way of getting into it. 1 day of the 2-day rallies, we tended to do both days, but it's a choice rather than a need to for the championship. And you're competing with, you know, cars of similar era. And people of similar skill to a point, you know, so it's been really good for us. My car's a 2007 Evo 9, a car I imported from Ireland, which was 2 years ago, probably a bit of an animal when we got it. Rebuilt all the running gear, engines, new gearbox, and then body as well. Carbon fibre doors and bits and pieces, just made it a bit lighter. So it's a couple of 100 kilos lighter than my other cars, and probably 100 horsepower-ish more, you know. So exciting, but a trial, you know. We've just got to get the balance right, and we're not quite there yet, but we'll try some new things this time and see how we go.
And it was Adam Bly who held the challenge lead through the morning stages. Matt Jensen just 7.3 seconds behind until disaster on stage 2. That moves Quentin Palmer into second, although 54 seconds down on Bly. Richard Bateman held third after 3 stages in his Evo 9. But it was the Escort Rotary of Richard Harding who took full advantage of great road conditions to be 4th until his retirement on stage 3, handing the lead in the 2-wheel drive class to the Honda Civic of Dave Taylor. In the Group A challenge, it was the Mitsubishi VR4 of Matt and Carl Adams dominant again. Stage 3, 37 kilometres, and while it was open in the first quarter, a steep climb and a very tight midsection would challenge the driver's fitness. Ben Hunt chasing down a 1.9 second lead going into the stage. A classic battle between the production-based Subaru and the purpose-designed WRC2 R5 Fiesta.
And the Fiesta's purpose-built for roads like this, whereas the production-based Subaru is not quite built for roads as tight as the ones we're seeing just here. It's more built for open flowing roads like these ones here.
Dylan Turner was running ahead of Bailey on the road and about to become a hazard on course.
Oh, Dylan, you were lucky there.
But not so lucky for Max, losing precious seconds as he negotiates a round turner who was well and truly stuck. How lucky was he?
And that would have seemed like half a minute to Max leading the rally at the stage. He now needs to get a calm head. Lisa, his co-driver, needs to calm him down. And he needs to box on and get stuck into these next lot of corners.
But a spin later in the stage cost him more time, so Bailey dropping to second overall. Graham Featherston was just 15 seconds slower than Hunt on the stage, showing that the larger cars still had the pace on this tight stage. Emma Gilmore, the fastest of the AP4 cars, although not without drama, as she transitioned from the fast section into the tight part of the road.
7 left, 100, medium, 5 left. 5 right narrows. Yeah, right.
That was a lucky save right there. That was an issue with timing on the notes and Anthony not getting the timing right for Emma to take them in. That's a problem with a new rally and writing new notes from scratch.
David Holder clipped a bank in the stage, but not enough to affect his time. Holder was battling Matt Summerfield, who was finding ways to keep his turbo anti-lag on, and so had improved.
So let's take a look at a side-by-side. On the left is the latest 2017 NZ Rally car technology, and on the right, Matt Summerfield's 10-year-old production Subaru. And there's not much difference between these two pictures. You can tell on the left there is more punch out of the corners in the newer car, and the one with a working turbo.
Just 3 left, tightens long. Whew.
To say that Sloane Cox has an attacking driving style is almost an understatement. The Rotorua driver never afraid to throw the Evo 10 around, and occasionally the road bites back.
3 left, tightens 2, tightens don't go 1.
So confirming Hunt now leads by 38.5 seconds. But despite that spin, Sloane Cox moves up to third. Hawkswood and Gilmore almost tied. Service at Ohura, a small town with some great retro buildings and a relaxed atmosphere, unless you are Matt Summerfield.
Matt, missing a bit of the trademark grin there, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Pace isn't there at the moment, so had a few issues with the car, and to be fair, I'm not 100% either, so working on it, but yeah, we'll see how we get on this afternoon.
And can you tell us what's happening with the car?
Just no anti-lag. I can half get it going, but I've got to press a button like every 300 metres, so there's a lot going on to be doing that, so sometimes I run with it on, sometimes I run with it off, but there's just no confidence without the anti-lag.
Now, Lane, we've been hearing from Matt Summerfield that his car's been having anti-lag issues all morning. Can you tell us exactly how the anti-lag works for both Group N and AP4 cars?
The anti-lag works on the same principle on all cars, really. What it does is trying to spool the turbo earlier so they've got more initial response. So they've already built boost before they actually stand full on throttle. And by doing that, well, it's easy done. Turbo works on thermal energy, so by adding more fuel and retarding the ignition time instead of being before top dead centre, so it's actually after top dead centre, it's burning coming out the port and expands on the turbo and builds a boost at a lot lower revs. So when they've got, say, 15-20% throttle and left foot braking, they could have 1.5 bar boost at times. And then when they stand on the throttle, they've got that initial whack of power straight away.
Sunny day, Emma. You know, sun's beating down, hot conditions in the car. Tell us how your fitness is coping with the roads out there.
Interestingly enough, found the last couple of stages okay. That first stage this morning struggled a bit with the slippery conditions at the end, and it was a really busy stage at the end. You just got sort of no brake at all. There's no straights and that. So it's it's a challenge. But I think what I find so hard is that because you don't know the stages, it's not like when you've done stages in the past. It's like, well, I've got to this junction, and you sort of know how far you are to the end of the stage. It's just corner, 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 corner. So you don't know when the finish is coming. So there's no odometer on the car. So yeah, just keep driving flat out.
Ben, today just keeps on getting better and better, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm got a smile on my face. The car's working amazingly, and having heaps of fun out there. It's probably the most fun I've had in a rally car for the last few years. But loving it. Beautiful sunny day, and what else could you ask for?
Sloane, is it possible you might be having too much fun out there, mate?
That last one's a bit of fun. Pretty much half that, or the end bit of that stage was on the handbrake the whole time, so it was heaps of fun. But these are challenging stages, but I'm loving it.
And a bit of brake line issues and a bit of car bodywork issues, maybe?
Yeah, through tight stuff, it was just twos and ones that super narrows on the handbrake the whole time, and just one left-hander got too keen and it just turned and nudged it inside the bank. So half spin there. It was frustrating, but no major, no scare or anything.
It must be satisfying though to still be here, sitting in 5th, and still within a real good shot for the championship.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, that's the whole thing. We were just doing about 20 k's and then turning the anti-lag off and cruising for a bit and getting the temperature down and then back on it again. So yeah, we'll just keep trying to bag those points.
Coming up, Anthony Jones gets some airtime, and the co-drivers give us some dirt.
Dave's a celiac. Right? 5, 4. If he has gluten, certain things happen to his bowel system, which is definitely a downside when you're in the rally car and he has got a loose bowel. Sometimes it's not very enjoyable.
Matt's worst attribute would have to be when something goes wrong. He does get quite vocal, and it's sort of my job to calm him down a little bit in terms of when things go wrong.
Sloane's worst attributes probably would be remembering to check his emails.
Emma's worst attributes probably is singing in the car. Usually on the long road sections, we listen to music through the Bluetooth, and there's a reason why she's a rally driver and not a singer.
He talks to himself. In the middle of a stage, he's like, "Come on, you pussy!" And I think he's talking to me. He's like, "No, just psyching myself into it." So yeah, he does that quite a bit.
Plenty of action from the NZ two-wheel drive categories, although for Anthony Jones it was a little too much.
That's a big one. You all right? You all right? You okay?
Yes, that was a big one, handing the lead to the Mazda RX-8 of Marcus van Klink. But Van Klink would have to fight for the lead with the Toyota of Brent Taylor well suited to these Waitomo roads. Wayne Pidham's Escort holding 3rd through the day, but he was unable to challenge the Toyota. And Jack Williamson 4th in the Turbo Suzuki Swift. But it was Van Klink who would take victory in the class, his first in the new Mazda RX-8. Now to one of the longest stages in the championship, Ohura North Road. It may be long, but this is a nice flowing stage and the drivers will love it. But they will need to be prepared for an exhausting drive as the day heats up and the temperatures in the car climb well above 40 degrees.
Yeah, like a lot of people, when they see rally driving as a sport, they don't really picture it being physical. But when you're sitting in that car at 50 degrees and these small arm movements might not seem like much, but when you're doing them for 40 minutes, and the concentration factor can be really quite physical.
Now, Ben Hunt has been trying to give his Subaru that chuckability, sort of chuckable nimbleness, you could say. And here on the tight part of the stage, downhill, he seems to have the perfect car.
This is just as much Ben finding comfort in this car as being comfortable going downhill fast. He's an ex-Fiesta two-wheel drive pilot, and in those cars with no power, that's the only way to go downhill.
Hunt's time, 26 minutes, 26 seconds, and Max Bailey just 2.7 seconds slower, so not able to make inroads on Hunt's lead, as again he has a half spin. It was Sloane Cox who would put the pressure on both drivers with a brave run through the stage, using all the road and more.
And Sloane's finding himself in a position where he's right up at the top, his car's running mint, everything's working in the car for him. And as a result, he's using all of the road,
left tightens 2 flat up.
even with Sarah trying to slow him down.
8 right 30.
And even
4
bigger
right
cuts
plus
there.
30. 6 left tightens, we're just about there.
Only Sloane could have gotten away with that.
5 right.
Stage time 26 minutes 21.6. Cox closing in on Bailey. Josh Marsden driving his best stage all season, just 5.6 down on Bailey, now with the steering repaired and beating Dave Holder by 13 seconds. Emma Gilmore moving to 5th, just 30 seconds from 3rd place Sloane Cox. In fact, 2nd to 7th, split by just 40 seconds. And a lot of time for Matt Summerfield to catch up.
If you get tight in a stage, you just sort of miss your turn-in markers and your braking points, and the whole drive becomes sort of unfluid and disjointed. So you're trying to avoid that at all costs.
Oh, me.
For Andrew Hawkswood, it wasn't so much a case of keeping himself fit as nursing his sick engine to the end of the rally.
Now this car is suffering a suspected blown head gasket, which means at the start of the stage, the car will be completely fine, but as more and more heat goes through that engine, it'll lose more water and she gets sicker and sicker.
Oh, it's just going through the roof now.
So the top 3, it's still Hunt, Bailey and Cox.
We've been talking to a lot of the young guys about fitness and how tough they're finding these events. You know, how do you find tackling these roads?
Well, I'm not the fittest bloke around, you can see that by looking at me. But to be fair, they said at the end of the 3rd stage that all the younger people saying that they were all puffing for all they were worth. I said, well, I've got no energy to even puff. I'd add it, I had.
And another veteran enjoying a return to these stages, rally sponsor Gary Smith.
Yeah, well, they're fantastic roads. The roads that I've done probably from way back, goodness me, 1976, many times. They're some of the best roads in the country, actually. But I'm enjoying it from the wrong side of the car today. Normally I'm driving, but I'm letting my son have a go. So,
how special is it to be here as a driver and supporter?
Oh, it's really good because it's an opportunity to support the local car club with this national round. I've tried to sponsor events whenever I can, and you know, what's better than sponsoring your own local event? So pleased to be there.
Still to come on Rally Waitomo, who will take home the Dunlop Tyre Prize and who can lead the Brian Green Property Group Rally Championship at the end of the day. With 12 Dunlop tyres and free entry to Rally New Zealand up for grabs, the young guns of the NZ2 class were going hard on the stages. Dylan Thompson, the early leader. R.E. Pettigrew lost his challenge when his power steering failed at the end of stage 1 and he was out. Robbie Stokes made it out of stage 3 in 2nd, but his engine stopped and that was it. Max Tragilgis also striking problems and would drop to last in the rally. So Dylan Thompson taking the big prize, and he moves to the lead of the New Zealand Two-Wheel Drive Championship.
Dylan, stoked to be at the finish, mate?
Yeah, I'm really stoked to be at the finish. We had a really good day. The stages were long, but the roads were awesome.
And obviously stoked to take away the prize of 12 Dunlop tyres and free entry into Rally New Zealand.
Yeah, last night we wouldn't have thought we'd be standing here right now, being able to take away that prize, and it's going to really help us with our championship campaign and finishing the year.
Just 3 entries in the historic class, with Tony Gosling dominating all day. Paul Fraser was debuting a 2-door Mazda RX-3. Great to see there are still some of these cars running. And Mike Cameron having a disappointment when his Little Evo's engine expired on the final stage. Stage 5, the power stage, and with a flat-out final 6 kilometres, it may see the highest speeds of the day. As always on the power stage, cars run in order, so Dave Holder leads the way.
When people talk about New Zealand rally roads these days, they talk about roads up north or down south in Dunedin, but these are the classic rally roads that made New Zealand famous.
Let's see what Holder can do. Pushing now to the edge of the stage. (16:37.7). So next up, Hawkeswood. What a choice for Andrew. Push hard, risk the engine, go easy, risk the championship. How would you feel?
Well, we know Andrew's only got one speed, flat out.
Over finish, 30 to 6 left plus.
16:24.1 fastest so far.
Andrew, you'll just be happy to get to the end of that stage, won't you?
Yeah, the old temperature gauge is off the dial again, so it's just a bit of a worry. We'll just get through this last one, I'll be happy.
All right, mate, we'll see you at the finish.
Thank you.
Matt Summerfield will be happy too to get to the end of the rally without losing too many championship places.
And remember that Matt Summerfield threw away a championship lead at the last round in Rally Coromandel, so he needs to be careful to not throw away any more points here.
His time 16:26.4, just behind Hawkeswood.
Matt, tough morning with the car, tough morning with the driver. How did that stage feel?
Yeah, it's the best so far. Won't be enough to be right up there, but it felt better than the rest of the other ones this morning, so we're going forward.
And going really forward, a man on the charge, Ben Hunt. Plenty of confidence after dominating the morning.
And Ben's got some wiggle room on the stage times here, so he can afford a spin, he can afford a slight mistake, but what he can't afford is not bagging all of these bonus points.
Long 6 left, over finish. Long 6 left, over finish 30, 6 left plus.
16:15.2 fastest so far.
That was fun, very fun. Oh, that fast up with fast, that's fast.
Ben, 4 cars through and you're currently winning the power stage.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Honestly, that stage, the last 5K is unreal. At 5th, 6th gear the whole time, and 5s, 6s. That's like Patrick as a driver. It's when you're going around corners like that, it's you're on it, and yeah, the amount of grip out there is unreal.
Satisfying.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Loved it. Better than a roller coaster.
And a chance for Dylan Turner too to score power stage points, but in the end the turbo cried enough.
Dylan's a bit of smoke out the bake, mate. Do you think you can get to the finish?
Nah, I don't think it's worth it. It's gone run on like 3 cylinders now, so we were going good in there too. It was a shame, but we'll just call it a day, I think, and come back hopefully stronger and better in Tauranga in a couple of weeks.
So could Max Bailey add a power stage win to his impressive debut performance. Looking good as he approaches the line. 16 minutes, 19.7, second fastest to Hunt. Sloane Cox, the last of the top 5 to run on the stage. Could he take his first power stage win of 2017?
Sloane has got absolutely nothing to lose here. He wants a win, he wants some points, and he wants to show everyone else that he is a fast driver.
16:11, that's the fastest by 4.2 seconds.
So you're currently the power stage leader, mate.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. It did feel like a good stage, and I gave it everything, because that's my kind of style stage, but I did feel there's more in it, so it's awesome to be leading at this point.
And obviously piling the pressure on Max Bailey.
Yeah, I'm not purposely trying to do that. I just want to run my own rally with good times, and if I'm getting closer and closer to him, that's the aim.
In fact, Cox takes second place from Bailey on that stage by 6 seconds, but Hunt's lead looks unbeatable. Adam Bly, 4th overall and leading the Gold Rally Challenge, but a broken clutch on stage 6 saw him stranded and out of the race, handing the lead to Quentin Palmer, who had impressed with his speed on the tighter sections of the stages. Richard Bateman, second in class, giving him the challenge points lead with a round to go. Jono Walker hasn't made it to many finish lines, so third in the challenge here ends a good day. And it'd been hard work with Jono Shapley, pushing him all day. Warwick Redfern took the 5th spot, just 12 seconds back. And Dave Taylor held on to take the B class ahead of the Toyota starlet of Daniel Alexander. Phil Collins took 3rd in Group A, this being the final round for these historic cars. Simon Bell 2nd in his Pro Drive replica. But it was the Adams brothers who finished a great day with victory in their Mitsubishi VR4.
Matty, a lot of laughs in the car. Happy to be here?
Yeah, happy to be here, and yeah, definitely a lot of laughs in the car. Kind of helps us enjoy the day. And to come away with the championship is absolutely wicked. And I mean, the boys who worked on the car as well, the whole season, not one fault. So big ups to my whole team.
So looking forward to these Group A cars being an official part of the championship next year?
Yeah, definitely, man. To be able to do a challenge that's a national title and a car that's relatively pretty cheap. I mean, we picked this up for $6,000. We've done a little bit of work to it, but yeah, I think it's a great class, and I mean, anyone out there that wants to join it, and real cheap entry, I think, for a 4-wheel drive class will be great.
And looking forward to more fun on the stages of 2018. So confirming the top 3 in the Gold Rally Challenge, Quentin Palmer from Richard Bateman and Jono Walker. Overall in the points, Richard Bateman from Jonathan Shapley and Phil Collins. Right, the final stage of Rally Waitomo, and the longest at 42.67 kilometres. Starts tight, then it's flat out downhill before a long 16-kilometre gentle uphill hard gravel to the finish line. Dave Strong was in the top 10 before retiring on the way to the final stage. So Brian Green finishes another rally in the top 10 in his 70th year. What a champ. Josh Marsden 9th. It looks like the RDL team have found the reliability they've finally been looking for. Graham Featherston 8th, but was under 10 seconds away from Matt Summerfield. Both Summerfield and Featherston had been struggling with head colds during the day. But Summerfield also had a wounded car, so 7th in the end was enough to keep his championship hopes alive.
4 right, 3 left, 2 right.
Great to see Dave Holder also getting the second Holden to the finish with no issues and scoring the second fastest time on this stage. These cars have come a long way since the debut in Otago. Another finish for Emma Gilmore, 5th, but just 3.2 seconds off Andrew Hawkswood. In fact, the colourful Hawkswood won the final stage to snatch that 4th place, a gamble that paid off as he held the championship lead.
And Andrew's really learned his lesson from the first round in Rally Whangarei. He kept his head, he kept his cool, and he was still prepared to push in order to keep that championship lead.
5 left plus 60. Well done, mate.
Andrew, I just had a look at your dash and it's pretty much just full of red lights, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's been like that for about 20 Ks, I suppose, so we're lucky to be here, I tell you.
A great debut for Max Bailey, 3rd overall with plenty to come from this car. Sloane Cox, though, proving there's still life left in his older production car, like the Evo 10, even if there was no life left in his tyres by stage end.
I think Sloane's struggling for turn in there, and that's scraping by to the finish.
10, 5 left plus finish.
What was that? Tyres gone off.
Sorry?
Tyres went off.
Ben Hunt driving his way into contention for a second championship. And that is not something he could have imagined at the start of the season.
All year, never ever give up has been his motto. But it must be satisfying to Ben to know that there is pace there in this new generation Subaru WRX.
2 rally podiums and now a rally win. He must be in contention at Rally New Zealand.
Well done, bro. Woo. Very good.
Ben, how sweet does victory taste?
Oh, it's been a long time coming. Obviously, we won Nelson Rally a few months ago, but to win another NZRC round's fantastic. And you know, the car worked fantastically today. I think we definitely made a big jump forward, and yeah, it was awesome. It was almost back to 2015 in the 08 car. So no, it's wonderful.
So confirming the results from Rally Waitomo, Hunt the winner over Cox and Bailey, Hawkeswood all-important 4th place. And a well-earned podium spray for Ben Hunt and Tony Ralston. Let's see what that's done to the points. Hawkeswood holding on by 10 points to Hunt, Summerfield just 1 back and still with a good chance. In the 2-wheel drive New Zealand Championship, Dylan Thompson moves into the lead after Anthony Jones crashed out. Max Stragilgis just a point back. And Tony Gosling needs just 6 points at Rally New Zealand to take home the historic Challenge Trophy. Next time, join us for the final of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. Hayden Patton returns with all the contenders to challenge for the Rally New Zealand Trophy and who will be crowned New Zealand champion.